Hello and welcome to Point of View, where we give students a place to listen, learn, and lean in. I'm your host, Delissa Troop, and today I'm sitting with Grace, Sophia, Rachel, Aurelia, Jordan, Caleb, Suhani, and Dhruv, some of the hosts of podcasts, as this class comes to a bittersweet end. So the first question that we're touching on today is, what was your first impression of each other and the class? Like, think back to your first day of school.
It was a little bit awkward because it was such a small class and not many of us knew each other. But I do think that it was kind of nice getting to know each other in the beginning because it was those icebreakers were kind of funny, and especially the thing with Dhruv, and I used to call him Drew with the V. I don't know why.
So I kind of started the class because Sophia told me about it. I had no idea it even existed, and she was like, "Can you please come? I don't know anybody here." And she was begging me. And at the time, I was in intro to art, but I decided to drop that because the class was mostly freshmen, and I decided to join this instead, and I'm really glad that I did.
I remember for the first, was it week or two? Maybe 3, Caleb, our head editor, just was not in this class. He just was not here for the longest time. And it was, yeah.
I don't remember that.
So glad we got past that. But I certainly remember seeing, it was an interesting group, and we were all you know how sometimes in a class you can all see people that oh, that makes sense, they're in this class, or oh, they fit a stereotype. We all come from different backgrounds, and I kind of like that.
I just want to say, y'all terrified me, because I didn't know anyone but Dhruv. Suhani! And Rachel.
And me.
No, because I did not know you. I just did not know you until this year.
You knew of my name? Right?
You knew of him.
That's a question mark at this point. But Rachel was a comfort, a life, the life saver thing. And then Dhruv was oh my god, that's that kid from freshman year. And then the rest of y'all were oh my god, they're all so close. And I had no idea if I'd be able to mesh with everyone in the class, especially since most of y'all are juniors and I'm a senior.
I don't know. I did not think we were that close. On the first date, because I didn't know anybody. Because Marcus came later, and he was the only person I knew. And even that, Marcus is he only talked to me and Sophia. He was this clingy. And so I don't know. My first date, I saw I think it was Rachel and Suhani who were in here. I was looking around for the classroom, and I was is this journalism? And they're yeah. And I was oh, I thought it was supposed to be a different room or a different time.
Oh, the lab.
Because I signed up for Messenger, the writing portion. Oh. But then I got assigned to this class, and I was did I sign up for this? And I don't think I did. But then Miss Evans was talking about how we could edit audio and maybe do video and stuff. I was okay, I guess I'll stay. And because it was too much of a hassle to go to my counselor. But I'm glad that I did, because I agree with Rachel that people who are in different social circles and in different grades as well. So it's really interesting to see how everyone's doing, and because everyone brings a different opinion, I feel which is really interesting to see.
Poor Jonah, the only freshman.
I know. But I don't know, I kind of like to call it, I told Alyssa this the other day, but I was we're kind of Breakfast Club, but podcast edition. You know what I mean? Yeah, have you guys never seen that movie?
No.
I've seen that. It is true, I've seen that, it's true.
Jordan, how do you feel being the only sophomore in this class?
At first, I was terrified because I didn't know anyone, and I'm really bad in situations where I don't know anybody. So I'm quiet, I still am, but outside this class, I'm a hot mess. But we're not gonna talk about that. But I was really scared at first because I was oh, I'm probably gonna do terrible. Everyone's probably gonna yell at me if I mess something up. But eventually, I was okay. Nice. This is my favorite class. Whenever I'm stressed about chemistry, I'm so happy that this is my next class because I can just relax and think about happy things.
No, this is kind of off topic, but you know Michaela Upton? Mm-hmm. So I'm with her in Messenger, and she's always talking about how you're always talking about podcasts.
I love this class. This is the only class here where I'm this is the only reason why I come to school, because if I didn't have this class, I wouldn't be in school 90% of the time.
I was going to say that.
And I'm kind of curious, because Aurelia, you're also new to the school this year. So how did you hear about this class and sign up?
So I was supposed to go to Messenger too, and I was here sophomore year, so that's the class that I signed up for, and I was supposed to be a photographer for Messenger. But then my fourth period was clashing with German, and so they put me in this class. So my counselor was oh, so you have to choose between journalism or German. And I was no, I want both the class. I'm not choosing between either of them. So then she's saying, then we'll see about it later. And the next day she emailed me saying that, oh, it's already managed, you're like in journalism 4, so it's fine. So I was like, oh, okay. So I thought it was like another Messenger class. But I did remember that over the summer I did sign up for this class. I thought it was going to be the same class with Messenger. Like during Messenger is going to be the same thing. And then when I come in here, there's just like 11 people in this class. And I know there are quite a lot of people in Messenger. So I was like, oh, okay. And then later on I was like, this is podcast. I was thinking that there's no point changing out. So I'll just stay, it's okay. It's not like I knew anything about Messenger anyways too. So I was like, I'll just stay, it's okay. So it's fine, it's fine.
It's all a learning process.
True, and it was like not that I knew anyone in Messenger, that I was like, if I change, I'll be like with my friends. I didn't know anyone in this class, not in that one, so I was like, either way I have to meet new people, so I'll just stay in this class. It's fine.
And we kind of already touched upon this, but the second question is, why did you decide to join? And I want to ask Caleb this, because you technically did not have a choice. So how did you feel getting assigned senior editor of podcast?
I had worked on it the previous year, my junior year, with Noelle. She had given me, her and Miss Evans and like Jennifer, the Messenger editor at the time, gave me a chance to kind of work on some podcasts, kind of see what that was kind of like, and then I ended up loving it. And I also applied at the end of the year to be either like opinions editor for Messenger or like the multimedia, that sort of thing, like the podcast editor. And I was kind of scared because it'd be our first year as a class and I didn't know what to expect, but that kind of like the media and the audio aspect, I was really intrigued about it because I mean I kind of started doing that sort of thing during like 2020 and like COVID time, so I kind of was interested in that, and then I ended up loving it and kind of saw our potential as a class as we grew.
I'm very similar to Caleb in the sense that I was chosen as one of the junior podcast editors alongside Sophia. So I was technically given a choice, but it was less of a choice and more of like, come on, do the class. And I'm very glad I did, because I thought I had wanted to go into like writing journalism, and I realized that my writing is probably not as strong as I thought it was. And now I'm looking at colleges specifically for broadcast journalism because of how much fun I've had in this class and like how much I just really found a passion for it.
Yeah, just like Rachel, obviously I was also assigned junior podcast editor, and it was unfamiliar to me, but not as unfamiliar as it could be for Caleb and Rachel, because in my freshman year, I wasn't in Messenger or anything like that. It was like this like 1 year class. It was really random, but it was like a sports class, and we basically made videos and like interviewed athletes, and it was kind of like a thing. So I was like familiar with like editing and like video and stuff like that, but I did enjoy like writing in the Messenger. But then after I joined this class, I really liked the dynamic that came with this class. And yeah, I'm really glad that I stayed.
I don't even know like how I ended up, but the reason I ended up in podcast or broadcast journalism in the first place, like I was never even tangentially related to like journalism kids or anything like that. Like I was never in Messenger or talked to Miss Evans before this year. But I think that at the end of my junior year, because I was doing so much like video stuff with Bold and like the end of the AV program and stuff, that Miss Pope recommended me to Miss Evans. So then I think it was like sneak peek or something, or like the last day of school junior year, I came in to like say hi to teachers, and Miss Evans emailed me, even though I never talked to her before. She was like, hi, I have a class next year called like broadcast journalism that I think that you'd like. Do you happen to be at school today? I wasn't even supposed to be at school, but I was just like, sure, okay, I'll like come by. And then 3 months later, I ended up in here. And I'm really glad I did, because I got to learn like so much. Because like I think that like I helped a lot with like the technical aspect for like the audio and recording and editing and all that. But like, you know, I really didn't have that much experience with audio editing before this. Like you guys seem to think that I'm like experienced in this. I was kind of making it up as I went along.
Tell us these things.
The secret
No,
was
and I'm
out.
so glad I did.
Towards the beginning of the year, we were all just calling out Drew's name, like, Drew.
It was like a chorus.
So he could come help us.
Dude, that happened like 10 minutes ago.
I mean, recently it's become Drew Sing, and now I think it's a command.
No, I remember one time I was editing something, and I asked Drew for help because something wasn't working right. And he just pulled up the Google in front of me. I was like, I could have just done this myself.
Dude, listen. Half the skill is figuring out how to figure out stuff when you don't know it. So,
Okay.
so that's what I say.
And touching on that, other than Dhruv, who clearly taught us all the technical aspects of everything,
Give yourself some credit.
Okay. What skills have you guys learned from this class?
Not to like what's it called again? Toot my own horn or anything. But like I also did audio video, so like but like I really only edited like sort of video, and I guess using platforms like Adobe Audition sort of like to edit audio was something we learned, like cutting audio and like using fades and stuff like that. But, like I think one of my favorite days was when Rachel had the Photoshop and Illustrator lesson, because I think making graphic design is so cool. And like it was really fun, even though it was like frustrating at times to like, because we were cutting out like Melissa and Megan or something, like sometimes we would cut out like their arm or something. But like I think it was really fun, like playing around with Photoshop and Illustrator, and like being able to make graphics and stuff like that is something I really liked learning. And besides that, because I was completely new to like this whole journalism thing, so I didn't know how to like write interviews or like features or anything. So I think that gaining that like writing skill was also something really important. I feel like I learned.
Like as a messenger kid, I love how different storytelling can be in broadcast journalism, and how you have more choice with like stylistically how you get to tell that story, because it's not just like interview transition kind of how we do in messenger. And I think that's been my favorite part, because I feel like I've grown as a storyteller. How do you feel, Delissa?
I kind of liked how we all grew together, like especially in the beginning. Some of us knew how to do things, but for the most part we were all like pretty new to everything. I feel like the skills we learned in here, like using Audition, using Photoshop, and like everything else is like so helpful like in the real world. And I feel like this class gave me like so much like technical skills that I like never would have like known about before. And like even though like you can like search things up on Google and you can like go on YouTube, it's not really helpful unless you actually have like a project you're working on. So the fact that I was like able to not only learn those skills but experiment with them was really helpful.
I think I learned like how to learn and teach from other people a little bit better, you know, like because like I feel like I could learn those skills on my own. Like if I was curious, I could Google it, you know. But I think that like applying it in the group setting is what really made me like feel like I was actually able to do those things, like use them like well. Like I don't think I would ever say like, oh yeah, I can use Audition if I just was using it on my own at home. But you know, after like running an interview with you guys and being like, oh yeah, this is how you do this, or like figuring out new stuff with Grace, like when we were at like trying editing the homecoming episode and stuff, like I feel like I'm competent at it now. Like I feel like I know it.
I really liked how we got to like, we had like ideas that we learned from other podcasts that we listened to on Spotify, and we were able to like, oh, this would be so cool, like how can we add this into like our next episodes, like using video, or like the Hoko Titans things like you said, or like book bands was like completely new with like using music throughout the entire episode. And I really liked like how the more podcasts we put out, like the better they got, pretty much.
For me, when I came in, like I didn't know anything, so I knew every time I came into class, I was always worried that we're gonna do something today and I don't know how to do it, and it's just gonna be so bad. But then I feel like by the end of it, almost anything, like the graphic, the editing, interview, like how to set up a script, how to reach out to people in a way that, you know, it's not, I don't know, like you're not pushing them to do the interview with you, like you're actually asking them. I feel like all those things, I've just learned a ton, I feel. And it's crazy to think about it because it's just been one whole year. And by the end of it, I feel like I'm more ready and prepared for the next year, so I'm happy about that.
I have to say, this is weird, but my favorite thing that I've learned was on Adobe Audition, how to make like the waveform thing into multi-track. When I learned how to do that, I was like, wow, this
Game
is
changer.
for real. But like I had no clue with how to edit anything. But I wanted to do it because my little sister was like, oh, I'm gonna become an editor when I'm older. And I was like, what type of editor? She was like editing like audio and stuff because she watches this YouTuber that does it. And I was like, that sounds pretty fun. So when I like came to this class, when I was really excited to like learn how to do all this stuff, especially the multi-track, my favorite thing.
I would definitely say that I've definitely learned skills that have helped me outside of this class. I had never touched like Audition or anything other than like InDesign and possibly Illustrator from Messenger. So being able to use Audition, I figured out how to record something, and like I worked with Dhruv on how to remove like some noise stuff for our Carrie Curtin speech.
I pulled up Google for that one.
Of course. So these skills that we've like learned will definitely like they're not just things that we can use in this class. There's like applications outside.
So now that we're ending the year, how do you guys think you've improved from the very beginning to now?
Personally for me, I think the main way that I improved, like the way that I'm most proud of, is definitely on graphics. I remember at the beginning of the year, Grace like helped us with our first graphic, and then from there on, I literally like I always went to her and I was like, Grace, please help me with this, and I would kind of like follow her format. And then the most recent graphic that I made with the like international night, that one was like mainly from my own like ideas in my brain, and I was so proud of how it came out because it was like exactly how it looked in my head, and it wasn't really following like a certain format. It just followed like what the episode kind of like aura was, and I was so proud like I was able to learn how to like I remember I was showing everyone in the class like, oh my god guys, I learned how to make shades on the curtains, and then like, nobody cared. And I was so excited. But yeah, definitely just learning how to use Illustrator more and kind of use my own creative like way with that, and then also definitely audition. Same with the international episode. After I learned how to like incorporate stuff, because I feel like podcast is a lot more immersive in storytelling with the sounds it's able to do and stuff like that. And when I finally learned how to incorporate that without making it sound like awkward or weird, I was so proud of it.
To clear things up a bit, the Grace that Sophia is talking about is Grace Pang, our EIC from Messenger. So, not me. I was not a graphic master. But yeah, I can really see how Sophia improved. Like, her international night graphic was actually so amazing. And like, I feel like the whole thing with like having more creative freedom and like not just following like a sort of like framework. I think as like a whole group, we grew out of like just following a framework and like started like doing our own sort of like how we want to do our graphics, or like how we want to do our episodes, and not just doing like the exact same thing we always did. Like for me, one way I feel like I improved is I think sort of like Delissa touched on it with like our book bands episode, how like we started sort of working into incorporating like different sounds and like cutting in more clips instead of just having like blocks of just audio.
Yeah, because the book band one, previously before that, we would just like have a complete like interview. But for the book bands ones, it was the first time that we had like different interviews that we had to incorporate into one episode. And so it dealt with like a lot of editing, a lot of like sounds that we had to include. And so that was like probably my biggest accomplishment, or like the thing I'm the most proud of. And also I was in both Messenger and podcast this year for the first time. And I really learned how to like talk to people and like introduce myself, and like especially when it comes to interviewing people. And I really liked how I like learned to work together with other people and just like know how to do small talk, I guess.
I think the thing I most improved on was my boldness. It's weird me being the editor of this class, and I still get like stage fright and being scared to talk in front of people because I'm scared of like the comments I might get back and that sort of thing. But I think as we went on through this year, interviewing people, doing more episodes, I gained more experience and kind of got more comfortable with the mic and that sort of thing. But also kind of trying to grow as a leader. This is my first time ever being like in a leadership position, really. So growing like with the class, but then also kind of keeping us on track, kind of, just being a better leader. I think that's the main thing I improved on.
I feel as a class as well, like just the kind of content or the kind of episodes we used to make initially versus what we make now, I feel like they're just more serious and they have more of they have a reason behind it in some way or the other. Like the first few episodes, like they just had so much of room for editing and the way we framed the whole thing. And then the recent ones, like the homecoming one or the book bands, all of those, like they just seem so much more detail oriented and professional in some way or the other.
I think that it just in general, like the way we record episodes too, like even the like less flashy ones, like the first ever episode we did was a Downey interview. And like Caleb, Suhani, and I we were sent out, and like originally we wanted Miss Evans to come with us too. It wasn't possible. We were like really nervous. I remember that. We like walked to his office. We go in, and like it took us like 10 minutes to set up. I was like, and then like Suhani would have like a whiteboard, and she like flashed it at Caleb when he needed him to say something, and it didn't help like either, because like in the episode you could tell Caleb would look like anyway, I think we have to and like all sorts of things, and like it took us like 40 minutes, and it was okay. Like, you know, Caleb's great at talking, and so is Downey and stuff. But then we did it again, just Caleb and I. We did the same thing. We walked down the same hallway, like, with no one else. It's like we were set up, like, instantly. We got, like, more info in, like, half the time. It was just so much better. It was like all the bad habits that we had are, like, going away, and, like, just our process is so much more robust, and it's, like, a really interesting thing. I'm really glad we did, like, the same episode twice.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite memories and then biggest accomplishments in this class?
I think I could say this for mostly everyone in this class, but my favorite memory was definitely Miss Evans' birthday, and I'm planning for that because I remember we made this like Slack channel, and then it was like we all like it was so nice being able to talk to everyone in like a non-academic setting because usually we only use Slack for like, you know, like podcast kind of related stuff, but for this we were all like talking about like what's her favorite color, guys, what gifts should we get her. We were setting like links. Everyone told me this stuffed animal I thought was really ugly, but it was like so cute, and everyone was being so mean. But then like I remember I went out to go get the cake, and then everyone was like, is your favorite color purple? And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's purple, like I think it's purple. And then after that, when we actually came in, then we had that huge card. We were like running around to get signatures from teachers, and then we were like trying to fill it up, and then like Delissa showed me the messenger, and I was like, that one's so full compared to ours. So I was like getting signatures from teachers and stuff like that. And then when the actual day came, I remember we were like talking about like ways that we could surprise her. And I was
Scare her, you mean?
Scare her. I was like, I should like pretend like someone slapped me and then scream Drew's name. So she could run in and
You wanted to frame me. You're like a crime.
No, we were gonna put it on Jonah that he like passed out.
So Sophia said that, and I wasn't gonna get topped, so I said like, what if we pretend Jonah died? I don't think that.
We were like,
That would have been too far.
why are you picking on Jonah? Just because he's a freshman. But yeah, and then like during the actual in the actual celebration, it just felt like so much like we were a family, which I do feel like we are a family after all this time. And then Messenger had like a whole like party with like
Ours was better. Ours was better. Come on,
We got 40 people in a budget. We got 11
yeah,
people.
but it was really nice. And I could really see how Miss Evans treasured it, and it was really a heartwarming moment for all of us too, I
We
think.
dragged her to the back room with us.
We
We were so bad at it.
You guys kept whispering. Like I was like, what are you doing? It's so obvious.
And then no one told me that we were gonna forget that, or we weren't gonna forget it was her birthday. So I just didn't wish happy birthday because I was like, so we're all forgetting that it's her birthday, right?
And I didn't wish her either when I came in.
No,
and I was pretty bad.
Yeah, I literally remember planning like us all standing up at the exact same time, going to the back at the exact same time like robots, and her being like completely weirded out on what the heck we were doing. we should have done that.
We all basically walked.
Yeah,
That's very tired. I'm just like, okay.
No, because I think we said let's start our work, and she later said that she's never seen us so motivated.
I would say my favorite memory goes along with the birthday party, but Miss Evans texted me one day and was like, "Can you like make a graphic with like episode 7.22?" And I was like, "Okay," having no possible idea in my head what 7.22 could mean. I was like, "Huh? Okay, what?" Later, come to find out, it's a picture of her ultrasound. She put it on the graphic that I made, and I was like, oh. And then the next thing goes along with it, but it was I think it was at her birthday party, and I think Miss Evans had just found out the gender of her baby, and she was like, "Do you guys want to know?" And we all placed bets, and then we found out, and then we just all got so hyped, and it made me so happy.
Yeah. I liked how like every girl voted girl, and then it was a girl, and then we all like cheered at the exact same time. It was very wholesome.
Yeah, all I remember
I'm
is
still mad.
Okay, Kayla.
You wanted your baby to be Caleb's.
I think that shows like one of my favorite aspects of this class, that like we're all really close to each other and also really close to Miss Evans. I remember that one time when Dhruv got a speeding ticket in the school zone.
Why would you? Okay.
This is going out to the world, Drew.
and he was so stressed, and he kept talking to Miss Evans about it, and she like calmed him down, and she was like,
She actually calmed me down so much.
out.
I still do that. Literally today, I just went and was like, wow, Miss Evans, I'm really stressing about this. But like, you know, it's fine. Like, I felt better after talking to her. If she didn't say much.
I remember your court date too. When you
Dude, can you?
What? That's so nice.
As for like accomplishments, I remember we submitted a few episodes for like what was it? GSPA, Georgia
Scholastic Press
Scholastic.
Association.
Yes, and we did win an award for that. And I'm also personally, I'm proud of like being able to have a vision and like carry it out. Because I remember the first time I was assigned to like, or I had the idea, or somebody had the idea for like Homecoming Titans, that we cover that. And like, I was like, I really want to be in that group because I really want to record that moment where he announces the Titans and there's like a bunch of cheering. And like, I was able to like execute my vision in that episode. And it made me like really, really proud and really, really happy.
I remember it was so cool. Like Grace asked me to like come to the back for a second, and I like went back there, and she started doing it. And then she like, I just kind of sat back, and she did the whole thing on her own, and it sounded like so good. And I was like, I'm telling you guys, like you guys do not need my help. All right, it was a little bit of a lull.
Yeah. To wrap that all up, it isn't specifically a favorite memory for me, but I feel like because book bands was split into like two groups, and like most of us were like on either one group or the other. I feel like after that, we all somehow managed to like, even if we were in different groups, we would all like help each other out, and I feel like it made us like so much closer. So that was like one of my favorite aspects of this class. But what are your guys' like favorite things that you hope for next year, or like what you're looking forward to?
I personally am kind of excited to meet all the new people who are going to be joining the class and seeing how, like, from whatever we learned this year, how it's just going to help what we do next year and change everything that we do next year. So that's one thing, and just kind of being able to spend another year with all of you.
Aw, yeah, I agree. Because, like, it's gonna be definitely more structured and different from this year because we know so much more now, and it's gonna be like not easy to teach the other staffers, but it'll be like better for us because I feel like we'll have more of a foundation, and it'll just be more exciting to like actually execute the stuff that we want to do. Because you had that idea, you didn't know if you could execute it, but you did, and now we know that we can execute like anything we want to. But yeah, that's what I'm excited for.
I'm excited for Caleb's grad party.
I don't know. You just gotta wait for the invitation, see if it comes in your inbox. But even though me, Dhruv, and Suhani will be gone next year, my biggest hope is that you guys continue to make really good content for Northview to hear. I'll still be tuning in, but just like take whatever we've learned this year into the next year and keep growing. And I think I'm really proud of you guys.
I can't wait to see what you guys come out with, because you guys have such,
Oh, Miss
like,
Evans,
fresh
don't do it.
Miss Evans.
Miss Evans, yeah, Miss Evans.
It's okay.
Miss Evans wiping her
forcing
eyes in the
Dhruv
corner.
to drive up to
Look,
UGA
I think-
pick me up to bring me here. We're gonna listen together.
I think even if, like, I won't even lie, I don't think I listened to a single episode after they came out. Like, because listen, like, I would like help editing each one. I'd heard each one like all the way through, and it was like, yeah, they're released. Like, I just like want to move on to the next thing. You
That
know?
is kind of same. That's
But
true.
even if like I'm not gonna be here and I didn't listen to one, I just want you guys to like keep growing. I want you guys to like keep trying new things and stuff. I want to like tune in and be like, dude, I don't know how we never even thought of that. Like, I want to be impressed. I want to like,
Absolutely, yeah.
and I'm gonna keep tuning in. I want to see what you guys do next.
That is a lot of pressure.
Making me too.
And then in this, we have a Google document to sort of write down all our ideas. And my main idea was to fill the gaping hole left in Dhruv Singh's place. Because Dhruv honestly did like a lot of stuff. So I'm hoping that we can like,
I was hyping Dhruv up.
yeah, it's because you're leaving. Don't worry. We'll be
Mhm.
mean after we finish
Sympathy.
recording.
We'll be mean again.
Yeah, I think that next year I really am excited to like teach new people other things and hear their ideas as well. And I also want to like fix some stuff with like our mics and like sort of standardize everything, because I know this year we were a bit disorganized just because like we're a new class. But
And I just hope that I can carry on Caleb's confidence and Suhani's kindness. 'Cause honestly, Dhruv just got like a whole spotlight moment,
Yeah.
okay?
Caleb is crying so hard right now.
He's actually.
Is he actually?
No, he's not.
No.
He was trying to hide it. He was trying to
I'm
hide it.
hoping for a grad party invite after that.
Maybe.
So to all the people who are planning on joining podcasts next year or who hope to join podcasts in the future, what would you guys say to them?
I would say, yeah.
Just do it.
Don't be afraid of anything that you think might, if it's different from what you usually do, if you don't know if you'll like it, if you don't know you'll be good at it, because you never know. Obviously, I didn't know what was coming for me when I came into this class, but I love this community so much. I love the atmosphere. I love creating episodes, and it's turned into one of my biggest passions. So that could be you too.
Yeah. I remember my freshman year, I only wanted to be in classes if my friends were in it or if I knew the people there, just so because I was too afraid, obviously, to join things that were out of my comfort zone. Not only classes, but also clubs. And for all like the incoming freshmen, sophomores, whatever grade you're in, don't be afraid to join, even if it seems like we're all close. Like it didn't really start that way. And I feel like if you go out of your comfort zone and you take that leap to join something that you find interesting, it could be a much better experience than you would have ever imagined.
You may not think that you're interested in something, but just joining a class and realizing that, oh wow, I really enjoy this and I want to do it in the future is a really big step. And don't be afraid to come join us. We have a lot of fun. It may seem like it's a lot of work putting out a podcast, but you have fun doing so.
Although, like, I want you guys to create really good content, but I would say don't get too caught up in the work that you forget to have the fun that we have in this class. Like, the bonds that we make and, like, just all the laughs that we had, I think those are a lot more meaningful. And although we can just even implement those into our podcast, and, like, the bond between us and the connection that we have is from those experiences and the fun that we've had.
Speaking of bonds, I would just like to give a shout out to someone who isn't here. New members, when you come into the classroom for the first time, that lump in the back of the classroom is Marcus. He does not bite.
Keep an eye out for Jonah. I love it.
Yeah, just try it, because I think that one thing that brings a lot of people together is like listening to stuff, whether it's like music or like the radio or something. And also, I would say don't be afraid if that people will like already be in their friend groups or anything. Like at the beginning of the year, we like barely even knew each other, but like this class really brings you closer to other people.
Also, one thing that I noticed and I would advise is that if someone tells you that something about your work can be changed in a certain way, like don't be afraid of criticism, and like don't be afraid if someone tells you to change something. Don't feel offended by it. Like just actually try to implement it and see why they told you to do that rather than being scared about it.
Guys, this is so weird. This concludes our episode. Thank you so much for listening. For a transcript of this episode, head to the Point of View tab on our website, nhsmessenger.org, and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook at NHS Point of View for updates and news episodes. I'm your host, Miss Evans, and this has been Point of View.